the year 2001. A millennial teenager lounges on the couch chatting with a friend on a Nokia 3310, affectionately nicknamed the Brick. Suddenly the phone slips and thud hits the floor. No worries, this thing is tough as nails. They snap the cover back on and it's good as new. In fact, the Nokia 3310's legendary durability spawned countless memes calling it indestructible. With a battery that lasts all week, our teen might not charge it again until next week's math quiz. Now fast forward to today, a Gen Z teen fumbles their sleek smartphone and watches in horror as the screen shatters on impact. Cue the scramble for rice bags and repair shops. The modern smartphone is a supercomputer, sure, but drop it once and you're looking at a spider web of cracks and a lighter wallet. How did we get here? From unbreakable bricks to fragile touchscreens, from Snake to Snapchat, today we're comparing then and now in mobile culture. Indestructible brick versus fragile smartphone. Nostalgic scene. It's 2000 and you're carrying a phone that doubles as a self-defense weapon. The Nokia 3310 in your pocket could probably hammer nails. Friends joked it might survive the apocalypse, and honestly, they weren't far off. This Nokia brick was so durable that it became a cultural icon. Legend has it one even stopped a bullet and saved its owner's life. Battery life was equally epic. With up to 10 days of standby, you'd forget where you left your charger. The most dangerous thing about this phone was losing it, not breaking it. Today's contrast. Now consider 2025. Your smartphone is a sleek pane of glass and electronics. Powerful, yes, but fragile. Drop it from your desk and you hold your breath checking for damage. A single crack on that old screen can feel like a heart attack. We wrap our phones in chunky protective cases and screen protectors, treating them like precious artifacts. And battery life, by 3 p.m., many of us are desperately hunting for an outlet or sliding a portable battery onto our ultra-thin devices. The old brick phone didn't need a daily recharge. Meanwhile, today's smartphones make us panic when the battery icon dips below 20%. There's even a word for fear of a dying phone, battery nomophobia. Cultural observation. We traded durability and longevity for amazing features and power, and along the way, we got a bit more anxious about our phone's safety. Millennials reminisce about a phone that could survive anything, while Gen Z treats their phones like fragile gold. It's ironic the devices at the center of our lives today are less physically resilient than their primitive predecessors. We used to brag that our phone could take a beating. Now we brag about how good our protective case is. Progress, right? The flip phone Flair versus always-on touchscreens. Nostalgic scene. Imagine it's 2005. You've got a shiny flip phone, perhaps the iconic Motorola Razr tucked in your pocket. It rings, your favorite polyphonic ringtone is blaring, and you answer with a flourish. Flip it open and snap it to your ear. You feel like a secret agent every time you do this. Hanging up has drama too. You end the call by snapping the phone shut with a satisfying clap. Nothing says conversation over like slamming a flip phone shut. The screen is tiny, the camera, if it has one, is a grainy potato. But the vibe is unbeatable. A flip phone was not just a gadget. It was fashion. You could personalize it with funky cases stickers, even an antenna charm. It made you look cool just by answering a call. Today's contrast. Now think of how we use smartphones. There's no flip, no flare, just a rectangular touchscreen that's always on. When a call comes, you tap a green button. Finishing a call? Tap the red button, or more often you don't call at all, you text. There's zero drama in tapping a screen. And because our phones do literally everything, phone calls aren't even the main act anymore. Many Gen Z folks find actual voice calls intrusive. Why call when you can send a meme or a TikTok? Ironically, we've gained high-definition FaceTime and video calls. On demand, a concept that was sci-fi back in flip phone days. Yet we've lost the little thrill of physically flipping a phone shut. On modern smartphones, the cool factor comes from the latest features or camera quality, not how you answer a call. And forget tiny antenna charms. Now it's all about pop sockets and camera lens count, cultural observation. The ritual of using a phone has changed. Millennials recall the joy of that flip and snap the tactile feedback that made tech interaction fun. Gen Z, having grown up with touchscreens, values speed and multitasking over theatrics. Sure, we can holographically chat with multiple friends at once now thanks to video calls and fast 5G internet, but a part of us misses being able to physically slam a phone to punctuate an emotional moment. It's a trade-off. Today's phones are unimaginably advanced, yet a bit of the romance of communication died with the flip phone's click. T9 texting versus instant messaging madness. Nostalgic scene. It's 2003. You want to send a text message to your friend, maybe something like meet at 7. But on your old brick or flip phone texting is an exercise in patience and creativity. You're using T9 texting, which means each number key represents 3 or 4 letters. To type S, you press the 7 key 4 times PQRS. There it is. Thankfully, T9's predictive text is guessing words as you go, but it's far from perfect. You keep messages short and sweet partly because it's cumbersome and partly because each SMS might cost 10 cents. You remember the struggle of hitting the 0 key for space and cycling through letters if T9 didn't know the word. That's why early texting language was born BRBZCUL8R, saving time, thumb, effort, and precious characters. Fun fact, back in 2000, the average American sent only 35 texts per month. Yes, per month. If you wanted a real convo, you might actually call on the phone. Gasp. Today's contrast. Now consider modern messaging. Smartphones come with full QWERTY keyboards on screen, autocorrect, and voice to text. Sending a message is faster than ever. Sometimes we don't even type at all. We just send voice notes or use emojis to say what words can't. And the volume of messaging is off the charts. Today, many of us send dozens of messages per day across SMS, WhatsApp, Instagram DMs, you name it, firing off what would have been a month's worth of text before lunchtime. Group chats, memes, GIFs, and endless scrolling have replaced the careful, rationed texting of yesteryear. If a millennial had to count characters, Gen Z counts streaks on Snapchat. We've gone from T9 tap 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 to instant messaging madness. And let's not forget, now it's basically free and unlimited. No more worrying about a 160 character limit or extra charges. In fact, many Gen Z folks can't imagine that sending messages used to cost money or that you'd think twice before texting. Cultural observation patience versus immediacy, that's the shift in a nutshell. T9 texting forced us to be concise and wait for replies. After all, not everyone was glued to their phone. Today, if someone doesn't respond in 5 minutes, we see their active status and start overthinking. Millennials learn to craft texts with care and weird abbreviations. Gen Z fires off rapid bursts and deals with autocorrect fails, hilariously wrong at times, and typo-filled excitement. We've gained speed and convenience, but perhaps lost a bit of the charm in communication. The psychology has flipped. A text message was once a novelty you savored. Now a day without a flurry of messages feels oddly quiet. Polyphonic ringtones versus notification overload. Nostalgic scene early 2000s, the era of polyphonic ringtones. You're sitting in class or at the mall, and suddenly you hear that familiar melody, maybe the opening notes of a Backstreet Boys song or the Mario Bros theme playing from someone's phone. Heads turn, having a custom ringtone is a flex. Your old Nokia or flip phone came with monotonic beeps by default, but now you've paid $2 to download a 20-second polyphonic version of your favorite tune. Totally worth it. You even had the option to compose your own ringtone with a built-in composer if you were musically daring. The Nokia default ringtone Grande Valse was iconic, but everyone wanted their phone's ring to reflect their personality. Getting a call could be exciting. Ooh, someone's calling, and everyone gets to hear my cool ringtone. Even text message alerts were personalized with fun little sounds. In short, phones didn't just connect us, they serenaded us, each ring a tiny concert of identity and nostalgia. Today's contrast, fast forward to now, ringtones still exist, but let's be honest, most smartphones live on vibrate or silent mode. Having your phone loudly ring in public is often considered uncool or just plain disruptive. We've gone from eagerly curating ringtone playlists to defaulting to whatever sounds came with the phone or muting it because we get so many alerts. Why the change notification overload? A smartphone isn't just for calls and the occasional text. It's a constant barrage of pings from emails, group chats, social media news, and that one game that insists you come back and play. The idea of assigning a catchy ringtone to each friend has become impractical. Your phone would be a one-man band performing all day. Many of us even keep our phones on Do Not Disturb to maintain sanity. The once thrilling "you've got a call" moment has been replaced by a sense of dread when the phone rings unexpectedly. Who's calling? Couldn't this be a text? Is something wrong? We went from polyphonic melodies to a symphony of constant alerts, so we silenced the phone just to cope. Cultural observation. Our relationship with phone sounds has done a 180. Millennials get nostalgic remembering that one friend who had Crazy Frog or High School Musical as their ringtone and maybe weirdly envying it. A Gen Z, on the other hand, lives in a world where a ringing phone often means spam or an annoying interruption. Culturally, we shifted from anticipation, excitedly waiting for that personalized jingle, to avoidance, where peace and quiet is golden. It's a psychological shift. Too early, mobile phones begged for our attention with a limited number of calls or texts, so each felt special. Modern smartphones demand our attention 24/7 until we're numb to it. Perhaps that's why the retro ringtone videos on YouTube make us smile. They hark back to a time when a ringtone could make our day. Simpler times, simpler sounds. Snake game versus App Store overload. Nostalgic scene, finally, let's talk games. Picture a teenager in 2001 hiding their phone under the desk, trying to beat their high score on Snake. The game is as basic as it gets, a little pixel snake gobbling dots, growing longer by the second, yet oh so addictive. That zigzagging snake was the height of mobile entertainment. In fact, Snake became a cultural phenomenon and the symbol of an era. It's officially one of the most played mobile games ever, with over 1 billion players by 2010. Why? Because nearly every Nokia phone had it, and frankly, there wasn't much else to do on those devices. Maybe you had Space Impact or Bounce on your phone, remember those, but Snake was king. You'd pass the time on a long bus ride, completely engrossed, using an arrow keypad to navigate, no internet required. It was single-player bliss, and bragging rights if you broke the high score. Mobile gaming in the millennial youth days was one game at a time offline, and simple enough to pick up instantly. Today's contrast, now step into 2025. Mobile gaming and phone-based entertainment are on a whole different planet. Instead of one pre-installed game, we have app stores with millions of games and apps. Our problem isn't finding a game to play, it's deciding which game or app or social feed to pay attention to. One minute you're crushing candies, the next you're flinging Angry Birds, then you're on to Call of Duty Mobile, or maybe just scrolling endless TikToks. The phone in your hand is an arcade, a library, a movie theater, and a social club all at once. Remember how Snake didn't need internet today? Half the fun requires online connectivity, leaderboards, multiplayer, social media integration. We've basically eradicated boredom by making everything accessible at any time. Yet paradoxically, we're more easily bored because nothing holds our attention for long. The average Gen Z user clocks over 6 hours of screen time a day on their phone, bouncing between apps like a hyperactive ping pong ball. Notifications constantly lure us from one dopamine hit to the next. In a sense, we are the snake now endlessly chasing digital snacks on an ever-growing maze of content. Cultural observation. This is where tech psychology really shows itself. Early mobile games like Snake gave us a quick thrill and then let us get back to reality. They were a dessert, not the main course of life. Modern smartphones have blurred that line. They've become a lifestyle hub. Millennials can recall being bored and having just Snake to turn to, and sometimes choosing to just stare out the window instead. Gen Z has never met a dull moment that couldn't be instantly obliterated by technology. An endless feed of entertainment and social connection is always a tap away. Culturally, we've shifted from using phones as a tool for communication or a bit of fun to living through our phones as an all-in-one experience. It's amazing. We're more connected and informed than ever, but it comes with the side effect of screen addiction and shorter attention spans. We've gained worlds of content, but maybe lost some real-world simplicity in the process. Conclusion. From tool to lifestyle, the big shift. Take a step back and look at this journey. The brick phone era was about simple utility. Call your mom, play Snake when you're bored, change your ringtone to your favorite song. Phones were tools, nifty gadgets that added convenience and a bit of fun to life. Today's smartphones are so much more than phones. There are cameras, maps, wallets, journals, and constant companions. For millennials, it's mind-blowing to remember how limited phones once were and to see how integral they've become. For Gen Z, it's hard to imagine life before the smartphone. It's not just a device, it's a digital extension of self. We've effectively evolved from phones as a tool to phones as a lifestyle. The mobile phone changed our lives by slowly absorbing more of our daily activities, and we welcomed it one feature at a time. There's an emotional aspect to this evolution too. Many of us feel nostalgia for the innocence of early mobile tech when our biggest cell phone worry was T9, texting your crush properly, or keeping that snake alive. At the same time, we're grateful for what we have now: instant connection to loved ones via video, endless knowledge at our fingertips, and apps for everything. It's a mixed bag of wonder and caution. We marvel at how far we've come from 11-day battery bricks to 5G supercomputers and how these devices bind generations together through shared memories and experiences. Yet we also note how phones demand so much of our attention today that it's easy to forget to live outside of them. As we wrap up, one thing's clear: mobile phones have dramatically evolved, and so have we. From the GenShift perspective, it's a story of two generations shaped by two very different kinds of phones. And it's shaped our habits, our communication, and even our psychology. Our brick phones made us independent, and our smartphones keep us interconnected. It's okay to feel a twinge of nostalgia for those simpler days, even as we embrace the wonders of modern tech. If you enjoyed this journey from brick phone to smartphone, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to GenShift and share this with a friend. Especially that one friend who still remembers their old Nokia fondly. Thank you for watching, and until next time, remember, whether you're Team Snake or Team Snapchat, we're all part of this incredible mobile evolution. Subscribe, share your thoughts, and see you in the next one.